but you have to keep a simple daily schedule that you have to stick to. Maintain a balanced lifestyle and make sure sobriety remains a priority. One of the top priorities. Because I would hate for you to lose everything because you didn't make the main thing the main thing. Welcome, family, to the Bacon Bits Podcast, where we immediately want you to apply the bits of information to your life. The ground rules for our podcast is that they will always be encouraging, uplifting, and informative. The areas of life that we will be talking about and cover will be with having a balanced life with your spiritual, mental, physical, relational, and financial health. I need you to say these words before I start every podcast. Say these words out loud. Say valuable information applied equals success. Family, what's up? As we get excited going into the summer months, man, this is just very beautiful to see all this beautiful sun. Yes, it's hot here in Arizona. It's going to be getting hotter. So just got to be prepared for that. There's no nagging or complaining. That's life. Just have to deal with it and accept it. As we talk about on this day's podcast, I want to talk about the 5 ingredients of a healthy recovery. Because, man, I love doing what it is that I do. I work in a alcohol and drug rehab facility and constantly have success stories over and over again, and always super excited about that. And people always want to know, what's the ingredients to a healthy recovery? Now, this is the cool part. I'm going to give you the main ingredients to the recovery, how your recovery comes out. You get to season it the way you want to season it. But in order to have a successful recovery, you have to have these 5 ingredients. They are crucial to your recovery. And the first one happens to be you have to have a belief in the ability to overcome the addiction. That is pivotal to the recovery, because this is the thing about it, man. I don't give a care how much I love the people that I love and want the best for them at this recovery center. If they are not ready for recovery, it will not happen. I don't care how much family intervention you do. I don't care how much the PO and the lawyer and the judge and the police officers want it for them. I don't care how much, it's hot outside, cold outside, that weather, will dictate people coming in. I don't care how much any other factor plays into this. If that person does not want to believe that they can truly be recovered from alcohol and drugs, there is absolutely nothing I can do or you. So the number one thing you have to know is that that person has to understand that they really believe in the ability to overcome the challenge of alcohol and drugs. They have to truly desire and believe and know that it is possible for them to be fully recovered. And the one-time fix of it happening one time more than likely won't happen. And that's why we have to be very careful, because you will have that 1 out of 1,000 story of, somebody just went cold turkey, stopped doing drugs, and they were successful. But you have 999 people that had to go through a rehab, had to go through a residential program, had to go through IOP, had to go to meetings and make sure that they did the things that was necessary in order for them to have the success and recovery. But more than likely, it's going to have to truly be that person's number one thing they have to do is believe that they have to overcome this challenge of alcohol and drugs. Number 2 is we got to deal with the emotional wellness of the person. In this day and time that we live in right now, anxiety and depression play major parts into people's recovery, and it's just in our lifestyle as a whole. We got so much information coming in, so much information going out. So us, being depressed about, our past decisions and past things that have happened in our lives that we haven't gotten over, the anxiety and the stress of stressing out about our future plays a key role in us getting the recovery that we need in addiction. So one of the things that we have to do is we got to deal with the emotional wellness. So if the person is needing some medication because of the anxiety and the depression, I would highly suggest that they get on some medication for anxiety and depression. Now, I am a huge advocate of the all natural way. So I believe in my heart, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that there's a tree or a plant that God has made that will give you what you need for your anxiety and depression. But I will definitely say start off, if you have to, with your physician and work on getting you some medication that can regulate your thinking so that you can now make wise decisions. Because if the anxiety and depression kick in, what we usually end up doing is going to a drug of choice, and that's going to help us with the anxiety and depression temporarily. But what's going to end up actually doing is making everything worse. So that's why we have to be very careful of not bypassing the anxiety and depression that somebody might have. Because, a lot of times for people that have never done drugs and alcohol, or that have done them and was able to just, be able to take one drink or smoke a blunt and they just be all right. For some people, this is really a hard thing to do. So part of that we have to do is go back and say, what's some of the things that we can do to stop that? And part of that is dealing with the emotional wellness, because if we haven't dealt with some grieving that we need to do, from some loved ones that we really love, and we had to numb ourselves to try to deal with the grief process, that's going to end up making us go back and do more and more drugs, more and more alcohol, and that's going to just continue to keep the cycle going in our addiction. But if you stop and say, let me get the help that I need, let me get a physical. I'm big on that, trying to see what chemical imbalance you may have with your vitamins and minerals that you're not taking. So that's super important. But we have to make sure that the emotional wellness part is there. So that's number 2 of the secret sauce to recovery. Number 3 is you have got to have a support system. I am real big in calling it my starting 5. So I believe everybody that's, trying to get off drugs and alcohol, guess what? They are Michael Jordan. I believe they got the gift to do this thing beyond a shadow of a doubt. If they put their hard work into it and put together the formula to have this recovery, I think they can have it. But they will not have it if they do not have a support system. So I'm real big on making sure you got at least, and I'm talking about at least 4 of the people that you can have as your go-tos in case you're having one of those moments where life is just, pulling you down. And we can't be super sweet and awesome every day, all day, y'all. So what we have to do is on those days when we're not feeling it, we need to call our team and let them know, I feel really weak. I feel really down. I feel like going to do something that I know I ain't supposed to be doing. But I reached out. Instead of reaching out to my drug dealer, I was able to reach out to you, and I need your support and your love and your listening ear, and I need to do some venting. And in the process of doing that, you're going to get some wise counsel. But also the thing that I love is also these people love you enough to put their foot up in your, I don't cuss on my podcast, but exactly the word I wanted to put right there. So you need to have those kind of people in your life that will help you stay on the path to your recovery. So belief in the ability to overcome the challenge of addiction. You have the emotional wellness, that piece that needs to be up in there. You make sure the support system of, AANA, crystal meth addiction, anonymous or whatever. If you got a sex addiction, make sure, guess what, go to those groups. If you want to do it the Christian way, Celebrate Recovery. There's so many groups out there that will be a great support to you as you are trying to make sure you have recovery. Number 4, you have to have a system in place, a structure. Life in addictive recovery is very uncertain and unpredictable. It's unbalanced. And what you have to do is you have to have a system that will support what it is that you're trying to do. So part of your support of having the people is also having a system. So that's why the 12-step program works wonderfully. That's why Celebrate Recovery, as they go through their system, if you don't believe in God, there's Smart Recovery. So that's a system that also works. But you have to keep a simple daily schedule that you have to stick to, maintain a balanced lifestyle, and make sure sobriety remains a priority, one of the top priorities. Because I would hate for you to lose everything because you didn't make the main thing the main thing. And I just want to give a shout out to a young man. He'll know who I'm talking about when he hears this podcast. that he had the opportunity this week to go to his daughter's high school graduation. Now, how many times did you graduate from high school? One time. And this young lady was crossing the stage, and he was in our rehab. And he made the choice to stay and get the help that he needs so he can be there for his daughter's college graduation, his daughter's wedding, his daughter's first baby, and all of those wonderful events, that he can be there sober because he made the sacrifice to miss her graduation. And I know that was hard. I mean, me and him had a great talk. I gave him some testimonies of some people that have had to actually do that. I got a young man, and he's not young, he's actually older than me, that came into our facility when I worked at another facility, and he actually sacrificed his son's high school graduation for recovery, and he's never regretted it. He's never regretted it. So it's always awesome to hear testimonies of people that, guess what, they had to make a major sacrifice. Like I said, you can't graduate high school but one time. And they were willing to sacrifice the high school graduation so they can be there for all the other graduations, all the other wonderful events that's going to take place in their kids' life, because they made the choice to sacrifice for the bigger picture. And they kept the main thing, the main team, by giving it some structure and sticking to it. And that's the beauty of when you have structure in your life, man. Structure is a beautiful thing. It's completely possible, man, to have sobriety. Completely possible. But you're going to need some help from the right support, and it's going to make all the difference in the world. And then number 5 is productivity. The last but certainly not least is a successful recovery program is productivity. One of the number one things that former addicts, as I like to already let them know up front, need is they can't be bored. You know, all of us, I mean all of us. When we get bored, man, that's when things get out of place. Part of productivity is when you have a successful program, you put the structure together, you really believe that you can do this. You want the emotional wellness, you got the support. In productivity, you have to have a reward system. That is extremely important. That's why the AAs do, 1 month recovery chip, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, year, 5 years. I've even seen a beautiful 12-year chip that was awesome. So I believe firmly that you have to have a reward system in place, because what used to happen is you will go to work for 40 hours a week. You didn't got that little check, and how do you reward yourself? With some drugs or with some alcohol. And that's not the way this needs to go. Now, you definitely need to reward yourself. That is extremely important, to reward yourself. But how are you going to reward yourself? And that's where we have to say, you know what, I'm going to put in place of that. I'm going to put a hobby in place of that. I'm going to do some physical exercise in place of that. Maybe playing a sports league, fellowship at, meetings, go to church, volunteering in the community. But it's staying productive in your recovery that's going to keep you sober. So, ladies and gentlemen, the secret sauce to healthy recovery, the main ingredients to this secret sauce is believing in your ability to overcome addiction, first and foremost. Secondly, make sure you have emotional wellness. Deal with that anxiety and that depression if you need to. Get some medication, whatever it needs to be. Number 3, make sure you got your starting 5 around you, a support system. Number 4, make sure you have a structured program. AA, Celebrate Recovery, Smart Recovery, whatever that system is, make sure you have a program that's going to go through some steps that's going to help you dig deeper to why you really need and have the issues that you have. And then lastly is productivity. It's got to be something that's producing great results. And if you got people that's been in these programs for years and they're getting results, I highly suggest you get into these programs so you can have the productivity that you say you want to have, the kind of life you've always desired. I love you guys. This is your boy John Bacon with another segment of Bacon Bits, man. Don't just think about recovery. Don't just have a plan on how to do recovery. Guess what? Go do the damn thing and make sure you get the results that you're supposed to get. I love you guys. God bless. All right, what's up, family? It's your boy John Bacon from the Bacon Biz Podcast. Thank you so much for your support, likes, and ratings. Please don't just listen, but rate me, follow me, and subscribe. This is an amazing way to offer free support. My beautiful queen and I have some books that we have written for your growth.
So the first book we have is a workbook, actually. It's called Healthy Relationships, and this is a workbook through the lens of faith. Because what makes a relationship healthy or unhealthy? So this workbook is designed, it's a 12-week, it's a biblically grounded course, and every week has a few different principles. So if some of our principles, some of our topics that we're covering are respect, cultivating security. And this is not just between a husband and wife. This is between parents, between siblings, between friends, between your bosses, employers. So it's really important, and everyone deserves a healthy relationship.
And also we have The Balanced Life by John Bacon. It covers how to be prosperous in your finances, relationships, your health, your mind, and your spirit. So you can pick that up on Amazon, also on audiobook. And we also have
The Unraveling, a creative healing journal, pinings, poems, prayers, and ponderings of my precarious life. I've had a testimony of I've had 2 brain tumors and 2 brain surgeries, and I'm super grateful, but I'm still grieving the process of healing. And this is part of the process. In this book, you have devotionals, you have prayers, and you have some ponderings. And in between these pages, there's a space for you to also be prompted to paint and to create your own, or maybe you want to write something in these books. This is part of your creative healing journal that we get to walk through together.
And you guys can just head over to Kingdom Servants First. Kingdom Servants, the number 1, st.com. And you can purchase all 3 of these books. Thank you for your support, your love, and your contributions. God bless.